business.
Welcome back to another episode, another installment of Day One Radio, right here on ablradio.com. There's art, beats, and lyrics radio to be exact. Make sure you download the very free, very accessible smartphone app for your iPhone and your Android devices. And B, tell them where they can find the entire Day One Radio catalog.
All right, man, you can always find us on day1radio.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, Spreaker. I think it's on some more stuff that I'll be seeing when I look at the analytics. I don't know. Wherever y'all find it, I appreciate you finding it wherever you find it off top. And please rate us and subscribe on iTunes, man. Get them ratings up. That's how we get, more and more attention. So, man, this week we had kind of two milestones. We had celebrated 3 years of doing Day One Radio, so we appreciate all the listeners that's been rocking with us since the very first show with Problem and Bad Luck that we had in our little tiny studio before. Now we done moved up a little bit, same floor, bigger room.
Got the corner
office, overlooking the teriyaki chicken spot and the rest of the stuff at the underground. But and the second milestone, man, we recorded our first live podcast in front of an audience at A3C.
It felt good too, though, man. It felt good.
Nah, it was really dope, man. We kind of scrambled, but we made it happen, man. And all props due to the one and only Jonathan Mannion, man,
real
who came in last second and really helped us out, bro. We talk about, what happened when we doing the podcast or whatever. So it's ill, man. I really appreciate bruh. And he said last year when he was on the podcast, he said he was going to have a year of just giving back. And that's exactly what he has done. He's been doing stuff all over the country, doing shots, doing galleries or whatnot. And it's ill, man. And if you don't know who Jonathan Mannion is, go back and listen to the archives, because that was the episode where we got really deep into his history and where he's from and coming out of Ohio and his college and how he got into photography and all of that. And the Cliff Notes version is, if you have 10 albums that you really love from hip hop, he's probably shot 5 of the album covers. Mm-hmm. If you got any magazines at your crib from the heyday of XXL, Source, all of that, King, he shot it. He is the fucking Michael Jordan of photography off top. So we appreciate, the folks that came out live. We appreciate the folks that asked questions and got a lot of game from Jonathan Mannion. And without further ado, we're going to go into this podcast live from A3C 2016 with the one and only Jonathan Mannion. Cool. Yo, we want to thank y'all for coming out off top. I'm a Clark Atlanta University graduate, so this is definitely a find a way or make one day. I know some of y'all expected to come to see Payroll Giovanni from Dope Boys Cash Out. And
I know I was.
He was having hotel issues, so, look at God.
I don't have hotel issues.
And, you probably have a crib here in 8 other states.
6.
So we got, one of the illest photographers and artists, period, in the world, Jonathan Mannion, who is, I think this is your second time on, so we can consider a friend of the show, right?
100%. Yeah.
All right, for sure, Jonathan Mannion.
I would hope that you would consider me a friend of the show.
Of course, man. So, of course, you're listening to Day One Radio on ablradio.com. We appreciate y'all listening. We appreciate the people that's in the room. Live from A3C 2016. And, man, what brings you down, bro? I know you a major part of, you are, down here a lot. You were just here during BET Hip Hop Awards doing some crazy shit. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, happy to.
And, what brought you down for A3C?
So, really, the whole crew last year when I was down doing a little bit of lecturing, when I did your show, actually, for the first time, I was speaking about my love for Atlanta. Since 1998. 89, I graduated high school. Man, I'm so old. Damn. Don't tell me. Ooh.
Hey, what's up with that?
See that sexy? White don't crack either. Ooh. White don't crack either, people.
I wasn't even here when that shit happened.
All right, exactly. What year were you born? Woo,
man,
92 baby in this
I could have made you. That's crazy. Like that's it. It messes me up in the clubs, man. I can't go to clubs anymore. Like, what year you born? Yeah, I could have made you. I can't even talk to you anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You just gotta walk away.
That's way too young. My line is, you're 12. Like, come on.
When I was, you were.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it just don't. The math don't work out sometimes. But so really, I've been coming to Atlanta since 1998. It was the first time I ever shot Outkast down here. Yep. And I shot it actually 5 blocks away from where we are right now. And there's a mural with like the rings of Saturn that are still up. So like the footprints that we stood in, you know, are exactly there. It's not been gentrified and flipped and is, you know, sort of sky rises of apartments on apartments on apartments, right. You know? So, I mean, loving Atlanta as I do, I have chosen this year, this is my 20th year of shooting professionally, wow. And I've chosen really to just give everything back to the people that have been here for me, that appreciate the work, that love what I do, that are inspired by it, that realize and recognize that it's an authentic story being told, and that's my sole purpose this year, is to give it back, to do these gallery shows, and to allow y'all to feel what, you know, has just come from my eye.
I'm glad that you brought up the specific word gallery. You know, because, you know, a lot of times we've seen this happen with, you know, street art and graffiti, you know, and I think Jay has rapped about it and spoke about it at length. Like the minute, you know, things of the culture leave the street and end up in the gallery, it seems like it's out of reach to the people that were there creating it, there seeing it, there tasting it. Like, what is your take on, you know, you kind of venturing into that? Like, do you hope that, you know, you can still keep those connections to, you know, the streets and the cultures without people feeling like, oh, damn, Jonathan Mannion in the gallery, his work is so unattainable, I can't touch it anymore.
It is unattainable. It's not for everybody. No, I'm kidding. It's,
you got a layaway plan?
Yeah, I do. No, it's look, I think it's really about, you know, a key word, elevation. You know, it's an elevation of the culture. It's an awareness that what we've made is really crucial and special, and is not just some, oh yeah, I had a poster of that on my wall for $14, like whatever. No, this is fine art. This is quality art. This represents a moment in time that is never going to be the same again. It's something that we all made together. And I think that it needs to be appreciated by everybody. So while I'm doing a gallery, it's not like, oh, you can't come in because there's wine and cheese inside. It's like, yo, welcome, please. Grimy, dusty, flip-flops and socks to bow ties and sharp and Farnsworth Bentley'd out with an umbrella. Like, you're all welcome because we all made this. Like, I'm the one that got to translate it, and I was the one that was I guess responsible in some ways for like really passionately chasing this, but it's really for the culture. It's the elevation of a culture that I loved from the beginning, from like DOC, Big Daddy Kane days in 88, 89, you know, and now it's it's for us, man. And you got to mark 20 years, like, and you have to think about it like this too. During this 20 years, right, there are people right now that are 20 years or 30 years older that understand who A$AP Rocky is. You know what I mean? Or Danny Brown, or name the latest guy that's just come out, you know? Just as there were people that when Jay-Z came out, they were 30 years older than that recognized that Jay-Z was the next loud voice of what this is for anybody that like followed the movement, right? And I think that if we think about it like this, and then the generations of, you know, the older guys that have, you know, 10, 15, you know, year-old kids. I just shot like Puff's son, you know, King Combs, who's like, what, 18, 19? Like, the generations are just moving on. Like, so we're touching probably 80 years worth of people with what we created together. And these are just like the little moments and like bullet points that allow you to kind of have the stories. And I think a lot of it too right now is about the storytelling.
So, like, with that storytelling as well, man, it's like you've obviously been in the game. You're a very tenured, you know, photographer. And I know that you also probably have your own personal taste as well. You know, being in that position, I guess, like, do you find yourself always at a crossroads of, like, okay, I know everybody talking about this dude, but this shit whack, man. I can't even, no, I'm not shooting your album cover, bruh. Nah, get somebody else to shoot this magazine article. I can't get down with that. You
know, the key word I think is discernment. You know what I mean? you have to be discerning because, like, your brand now, you know, like, as every human being has become their own brand. Like, I actually prefer to be a human that has talent and to deliver. Like, I'm not a brand. Like, whatever movement I've established is actually based on just quality work that I deliver, over and over and over because I'm talented and I've studied it and I understand my craft and I really care and I really give a shit and I really go hard, you know? And I think with all that said, it's like, you know, give me the question one more time, man.
In layman's terms, I was asking you, like, with you having so much respect in the game.
Artists, sorry. About who I shot. Yeah. You know, I think there are projects that are just not right for certain people. You know what I mean? Like, even if you gave, like, a young shooter, right? If I say, look, you know, you have 12 minutes and you're going to shoot, you know, Snoop Dogg for an ad campaign, like, somebody, you know, who's a young shooter might walk in, panic. Like, I can't do that. Just like I can't do, you know, the cover of, like, Don Diva for, like, $1. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not, and no disrespect against Don Diva. They're dope. I've seen it, but I've never done a cover because it's like there is a lane of delivery, I think, that's really important to maintain. There's a level of quality and artistry, I think, that it comes down to this. If you align yourself with success, you'll be successful. You know what I mean? If you're there and you're well surrounded by people that are grinding just as hard as you, the chances are they're going to bring you along. You know what I mean? Or if you recognize it, you know what I mean? And you welcome that and you embrace that. So,
well, how about situations where the music isn't there yet, but the subject visually, you know, you could kill it? Do you sometimes make exceptions there?
I mean, I did this kid, Brother Ali's album. I'm sure everybody's familiar, man. I saw him perform before Big Daddy Kane, and he just so passionately delivered what he had to say. I'd never heard of him before, but I was like, the dude's look is just crazy, too. Like, I went up to him, I said, look, come to my studio. I'm going to shoot you for free. I just want you to show up. We're going to make something together. And he did. He showed up, and then I had my friend design his album cover for free, and that became his first album. You know, so it's just sort of this moment of, like, reaction to say, look, you know, I believe in you, man, and I don't know where it's going to go, but sometimes you just have to do it to do it. You know what I mean? Like, when I got involved early on, I wasn't doing it because there were big checks. There were no big checks. We grew the checks because of what we delivered, and then the other artists, like, coming in to, like, allow it to evolve, and other shooters really pushing as hard as everybody to be as good as they could be, you know? But, like, there wasn't dough in 93. Like, we were in the clubs, you know, late night until, you know, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, shooting grimy, sweaty, loading film. Like, we weren't getting paid anything. We were paying to be part of what this was. And then I think that's, you know, why I think a lot of these people that have been here for a really long time in all arenas deserve the credit that they do, because we were the ones in the clubs kicking down the doors and proving it through action that we were meant to be here for a reason, that we believed in the culture, that we understood that we were stronger together, and we pushed. And we pushed hard.
For everybody that's just walking in, this is Day One Radio. My name is Maurice Gardner. This is Brandon Peters, and that is the ghost of Payroll Giovanni. No, I'm just playing. It's world-acclaimed Jonathan Mannion, photographer, video director, too, a couple times.
Yeah. No, I've done plenty of videos, man.
Yeah.
Trinidad James, Females Welcome, hot one I shot in Trinidad.
I still love the Ray Cash.
Bumping My Music, Jay Holiday, Bed, Suffocate, Jasmine Sullivan, Bust the Windows Out Your Car, Need You Bad.
There's a few.
Couple.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, I prefer photography. You know, I really like the one-on-one exchange. I don't like that there's a DP and then an editor and then everybody's watching a monitor and everybody feels that they can chime in, you know, with their untrained eyes in some cases and say, nah, I don't like the sweater. It's too salmon colored. Change it. Like, no, the salmon is because the background is the...
That looks orange on
Go
camera.
Ahead and change. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's funny you brought that up, man, 'cause that reminds me of something that I heard No ID said one time where he was doing an interview and he was talking about how he really still loves looking at pictures because still pictures, they offer a chance for the person that took it or the person that was there to share the story. And he was like, I'd rather see a picture of Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson in the studio than see that shit on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look, there's some things that you really want to see it move. You know, like what did, you know, Nicodemus and Supercat feel like at the, Biltmore Room in San Francisco in 1987? What did that feel like? You want to see that thing go, And then there's other things that you want to create your own story. You want to say, Biggie on stage on the microphone spitting, in 95 at the Palladium, which is when I shot. It's like, okay, what did that feel like? Like, you can get a sense of the people in the pit and the cameras and the struggle, and Ed Lover looking over his shoulder, sort of like sweating, people grimy, and Big is in the absolute center of the frame. Little Kim is grabbing her ratty wig, and people are losing their minds in this place. And I think that photos, if they are worth 1,000 words, I think that they are all poignant words as it relates to that photo particularly.
You spoke about your work being for everyone because everyone helped create it. And I think a good example of that is the event you did during BET Hip Hop Awards where, of course, we know how BET Hip Hop Awards is, standing on tables, popping bottles, your Bushimi sneakers.
That's not true, man.
Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, it is. But you did something like in the Bluff off Simpson in the hood, like just at a house. Yeah. And it was probably the coolest shit the entire weekend. Can you speak a little bit to that?
That means a lot to hear that because I didn't see anything else that happened except for the awards.
Right.
Which was, also out there and small.
Shout out to Big Crit, y'all. For real. Did
Big
y'all
Crit.
See the awards?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I was there and
I was there too.
People were damn near crying. Like, it was ridiculous.
It was a true performance. And, you speak of even Jesse Williams when he was like, okay, I'm going to be brave enough to say what's on my heart because I'm going to stand for something and you're going to hear it today. Like, he did that same thing, but in a level of performance that felt like theater. It was just like, okay, here I go. Now you're going to hear me. And this is what it's going to be, and it's going to elevate because I'm passionate and I understand how it was beautiful. The whole place had chills, and I'm glad nobody ran any music afterwards. That needed to sit and linger and sit in the air for as long as it did for people to actually really understand black, white, yellow, purple, whatever, that we all here for a purpose. And it really is us. It's us that's moving this thing forward. We are the ones that voted for Obama to make the change. We are the ones that set trends and set pop culture. The biggest artists out now, Drake, Rihanna, Beyonce, whatever, it's influence of Caribbean culture. We're all gathering ourselves to this one common mission.
If you didn't know if there's something he loves more than hip-hop and probably photography and maybe a cousin or two, is reggae and just island culture, off top.
True.
So all of the references, he ain't just throwing them out there for y'all. He is a head, for real, 100%.
I thoroughly enjoy it. That's if there's passionate work that I do, it's what's your personal work? Hip hop has been my personal work. What I do within the culture is my personal work. But the personal work, that's gonna be reggae and soca and dancehall. And I don't know. I believe in it. There's something special, and it's never been. I think it goes back to the essence of why we were doing it back in '93. It's we did it because we had to, we wanted to, we were compelled to. And I think that that's a culture that, almost skips over the dollars to chase the pennies. But it's because there's passion. You know what I mean? It's nah, man, we don't want the big deal, We want small thing, man. We want easy vibe in the thing. Exactly. All right, man, cool. We'll go get you hundreds of dollars rather than breaking out and changing or whatever. But I respect it. Because it's maintaining authenticity to that whole culture.
Definitely. We moved past it, but just kind of paint a picture for them about the event you did during BET. Yeah.
So actually right now on my sort of Instagram, every day I'm going to post sort of a new thing, and they're 5-minute pieces basically that sort of walk you through the stories of the images that were in the gallery, to continue the thought. So BET gave me the opportunity to pick 10 pictures that they felt represented my career, and which is damn near impossible. And I was like, y'all are bugging. You need to ask me for 1,000 pictures, and then for me to say I can only get to 750. You know what I mean? This is insane. 10? I was like, all right, well, I'm going to make them huge because I want them to be larger than life and for people to really feel it. We had an amazing sort of gallery warehouse kind of vibe. Put up the 10 pictures. It was Drake, Kendrick, Aaliyah, Khaled, because he was hosting. And he's a good guy, and he's motivational. Jay, Big, man, I forgot. There's a couple others. Anyway.
Outkast.
Yeah. Yeah, Outcast. And really, I think it was about the richest stories. You know what I mean? Like, what were the shoots that were really stand out for me? And I think that these represented a real quality kind of set of that also illustrate different points. Like Aaliyah's, like, you know, the story really was me having to get 10 shots in a very short amount of time. So, like, you know, I was prepared. I was ready. I asked for what I want. I demanded it. We got through it together joyfully, you know, and others are for different things. Like Khaled believed in his vision. He put his own money behind the idea that he wanted, you know, $5,000 worth of flowers and a $8,000 lion on the cover. Like, all right, man, that's your budget. He's like, no, I got this. Yo, bang, cool, and walked away. Like, so, you know, belief in your own craft and belief in yourself that this is your vision and how it gets interpreted. Like, the label said that they couldn't get me, you know, and he called me up. He's like, Jay, you want to do this? I was like, absolutely, man. I've been waiting to work with you for years, and everybody tries to keep us apart. Yeah. But yo, let's.
They don't want y'all to work together.
They don't want us to be great. They don't want to.
So what you gonna do?
Major key. Show up with a major key and deliver an album with a lion and $5,000 worth of flowers on the cover that looks hot as hell.
Right, and people don't even really do like iconic album covers anymore. So that's what made it. Yeah.
Gucci Man. We like that one. This one.
Yeah. Do you like
sort of iconic, right?
Yeah.
I did that one. I did that one in his backyard.
I'm sure it was a very nice backyard, though.
It was pleasant. We did an ice sculpture that said, like, guwap, like, next to the pool.
Hilarious.
Like, yeah, it was nuts, man. But he's such a good, he's joyful now. Like, he's a whole different spirit than he was before.
I mean, shit, getting out of jail will do that to a person.
Yep. Yeah. It should. If it doesn't.
Especially getting out of jail and having a job.
And you're going to be right back in.
That's a whole nother getting out of jail altogether.
Yeah.
Another thing that's happened since the last time we talked is the 20th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt happened.
Correct.
And we talked a little bit about your work with Jay and everything, but you know, it was weird because me and Reese talked about it on the show, and we were like, damn, this is a huge anniversary, and we don't like feel or see anything huge happening. And then it was just like a whole bunch of like small to medium sized, really dope shit that people did, which is kind of how that album rolled out.
Yeah.
Like, so what did that, obviously you probably think about it often, you think about whenever you work with Jay, but what did you think when it actually happened? Like, what kind of feelings went through you when you saw all the love for this album that, I mean, quite honestly, the Reasonable Doubt album is like people that's like in their 60s and 70s saying they marched with King. Like, everybody wasn't really there. It wasn't 5 million people watching with King. It was, you know, a few thousand. Everybody is a Jay-Z fan now. Yeah. But when Reasonable Doubt dropped, I was like, I had no problem going to buy it at the store. The shit was not sold out at all. So for you to have seen it and been there from day one, like, how did that feel for you to come around and just this massive love for this very iconic, really lightweight, like grimy street album?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll take you back to the moment. It's 96. You know, I showed up. Originally, the album was called Heir to the Throne. He felt that it was going to be a little presumptuous, and so he wanted people to actually discover it for themselves and name him the next king or not, you know, which is already, like, as a concept, it's pretty special, man, to have that sort of wherewithal to say, like, I'm going to let the people choose. Like, you're going to choose me,
right.
You know what I mean, and become the people's champion. As it sort of went through, it was my first album cover that I ever did. I shot it on the roof of my building and down by where Trump has his empire. And, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's crazy.
Right.
But, you know, he wasn't going to celebrate the 20 year. He's like, nah, maybe I'll do 25 or something, you know? And I was like, the people want it. And I want it because, like, you know, who knows what is going to happen in the next 5 years. Music, everything develops and shifts and moves so quickly. You know, so I was like, I'm going to go for it. And I flew to London, and I wanted to challenge myself not to just print out some pictures, but I did printmaking, almost sort of Warhol style kind of thing, but push the process. Like, while there are similarities with, like, the repetition of the Elvises, we pushed it farther because, you know, I just wanted to create. And this was a sort of a free space to create within. So, you know, I just wanted to give something back. We did 22 pictures for the 22 twos, just trying to think of little, you know, tie-ins, and did a bunch of interviews and really told the stories about it. And, you know, it's a joyful moment to look back and to really remember the steps that I took that feel like yesterday, you know, but also to affect a room and for people to really have felt the same thing from different receiving points.
Definitely.
Once again, if you're just now joining us, this is still Day One Radio, and that is still
Day
Mr.
One.
Jonathan Mannion, world-acclaimed photographer. Being that, you use expensive-ass equipment and you do fly-ass shoots.
Like my iPhone.
Right.
That's
Yeah, we got to talk about
That's my
the
sketchbook.
7.
That's my sketchbook.
With the,
I don't
with
have
the
one
raw
yet.
photos. That you can take raw photos with the 7
down.
Plus. Yeah.
But it's like,
Oh, baby, I like it,
photographer,
bro. No, sorry, I couldn't help it.
Do you find that the art of photography is getting, cheapened at all? Because, you have some people, they put their all into looking good just for Instagram. Damn, an actual photo.
That's a whole world, man. Like, IG is such a beast on so many levels. Like, oh my God, someone's gonna do like proper dissertations on Instagram and social media and just the effects, whether personal, if you're dealing with like heartbreak, how that feels, you know what I mean? Looking at someone's thing, it's like become like a drug or an obsession. It's crazy. But then there's also these worlds that are like people have created entire lives around just like sucking their cheeks and doing the thing and cute lighting and, the far off look away shot. You know what I mean? Like it's insane, but people are very aware of themselves. They're very aware of how they're presenting themselves in the world. I think it's interesting. I think it's creating a lot of narcissists that really believe that they're so dope when you really aren't doing anything at all. You are taking pictures of you, and that's great, and celebrate God's gifts of your body and whatever. But like, what's the substance? What are you giving back to humanity? What are you doing to better the person standing next to you? What are you giving as far as inspiration or motivation beyond like, damn, you fine. Like, skin looks beautiful. Yeah, I see you doing your sit-ups, ma. Like, if that's the thing, or whatever, you know what I mean? And like, okay, it's hollow. Like, what's the substance, man? How do we connect as people? Like, that's what's the most important, I guess.
Like 20 years from now, we probably won't be like, that was an iconic IG photo. Or an iconic selfie. Like,
but you look at like the Michael Jordan crying thing, like that's made it around the world 100 times. Like, it speaks to how clever people are too. You know what I mean? But I want those clever people that are like reacting to that and making things on the fly. Like, Drake sitting up something like in his Timberlands looking over his shoulder or whatever.
Right.
Like there are iconic IG photos. But it's like, I think it's how they get repurposed. And I think all those people need to be in advertising because it hit a chord and it went around the world and socially. Like there's just more to be done is my position on all that.
Most definitely.
Substance.
Yeah, most definitely. So what would you say? You had to give BET your 10, most meaningful photos to you, but what would you say is like your most memorable period in your career?
Man, I look back at like sort of the work that I was doing early on. I just really did it from the heart. Like it wasn't when everything just started like rolling and I was doing 2 album covers a week and a magazine cover. Like that was cool because my mind had changed in a way because I really realized that I could get to everybody. So then it became, I'm going to shoot everybody, So like when Pac passed away, I was like, damn, like Pac, you selfish. Like, how are you going to die on me, man? I didn't shoot you yet. Like,
right.
It's, I'm sure he would have liked to have been shot with me and been standing here right now. But, it's like, I think all of these things, I don't know. Give me the question, man. Restate it, man, so I can deliver it.
And not even your favorite, but your most memorable period in your career.
Yeah, again, I think it's early on. I think it's 95 to like 2000 kind of. You know what I mean? That little period.
That was a great time for hip hop too.
Yeah, man, incredible. Like, there's the movements of Bad Boy Building, like that was one thing, Rockefeller, but it was still united. Like, there was healthy competition. Street teams were out there trying to like slide posters up poles faster than the next team. Like, I don't know. I just think that I look back at those images during that time and I find that there's a real sort of purity. And maybe I'll take it to 2001 because I think Aaliyah's shoot was also that for me. It was just like fighting to have my vision out there in the world, But that was a real sweet spot, and I think really established a foundation of vision and motivation, for me to give authentic pictures, And then it became more, from 2001 to kind of 2008 was probably more of like a the corporate kind of beginning, and then 08 to 12 was disastrous for photographers.
How so?
Because everything went digital. So like a lot of the people that were photographers who were shooting before 2008, before whatever that little digital sort of film kind of mark was. The people that were shooting film had to understand that they had the shot in order to walk away and say, okay, cool, moving on, we got this one. Let's go to the next one. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure, because you're confident in your craft, right? You had to know, and that's why these people got hired over and over, because they could deliver every time 100 rolls of film, 150 rolls of film that were all quality, that made it difficult for them to choose a cover, I think that once people started feeling like they could have a say and like you could show the back of the camera like, hey, we sort of got it, I don't think that everybody was paying attention to the product rather than paying attention to the flow of creation.
Quantity
and I
versus
think
quality.
100%. But also I do think that people were just like, there was a recession hitting, you know what I mean? And people wanted the guy that would shoot it for $1,000. Like, why give Mannion, $10K and up? Yo, give this kid a shot.
Yeah.
But then you realize it's still about the images. Like, oh, it's only going to be like small on iTunes and no one's going to really see it. But it's about the quality of the image. I mean, you look at the Khaled Lion thing, you look at the Gucci Man thing. It's like even the 2 Chainz thing where he put Lil Wayne's tattoos on the face. Yeah. It's like these are concepts that are rich, that are going to last forever. And when you walk into a gallery setting and you see him big, it's like, oh, okay, and it's about the image and the quality of the image.
It's super interesting that you said that, because we kind of have a debate like at my gig doing creative stuff, and it's like people say that like, oh, we're shooting this video, so we're not going to spend a bunch of money because it's only going to be seen on YouTube. Technology moves so fast, we don't know what the next thing is. Yeah. A year from now, they could be showing all the stuff we shoot on our phones in movie theaters. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like
and
a year
already.
From now, 80-inch TVs could go down and everybody could have one in their crib. So your video looks shitty because you shot it for a phone, and then it took 6 months for your song to blow up, and bam. So it's just kind of like thinking forward, for sure.
It's so hard, man. I mean, even if we're talking kind of light numbers, it's like, yo, we don't have a big budget for this. We're gonna do 2 back-to-back videos for $20K.
Right.
All right. So to rent the camera, a proper camera, $5,000. To get a great DP, $2,500 as a favor. You want a prop car because they want a Lambo to stand in. Right. $2K plus insurance. That's your whole budget.
Yeah.
For a real shooter. Like somebody who's really going to go for it. Not the kid that's going to like, I got a 5D Mark III and I'm just going to take it out. My friend has one too and we're just going to shoot. Like, okay, that's your job. I mean, to speak about what we were speaking about before, of like, I can't do everything. I just can't, because you expect this from me, but you're arming me with a toothpick to fight with. And I can't do that.
Taste, beer budget.
Right.
Yeah. Good, fast, cheap. Pick 2.
Yeah.
So we're going to give everybody in the audience an opportunity to ask some questions. Anybody have some questions from the conversation that we've been having with Mr. Jonathan Mannion so far? Any photographers out there? Any lovers of images? Anybody that is like, oh, man, can you sign my Source magazine? I got it in my back pocket right now, bro.
Hilarious.
I love that, too, by the way. The people that roll in, like, sign my Reasonable Doubt cover. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
so
lightweight pissed because I did forget to bring my Reasonable Doubt cover the last time we interviewed him. Yeah, I'll bring it tomorrow for sure, 100%. 100%. No questions? Y'all, okay, cool.
I'll go to him, man. I got him. And I'm going to hold the microphone for you as well.
You don't trust him?
Yeah. No, so I was going to ask you when you were talking about Instagram earlier, like, I just remember, like, when I was growing up, rappers, like, you have like rounds of press photos. So you have your first one on the first album and kind of progressively you do more of these big press shoots. But now it's like 24/7, you're constantly putting out images of yourself. So I was wondering if you had any thoughts on how that changes like rappers' images and how it's perceived by fans and how you as like a photographer see that whole process.
Yeah, I mean, I think that fans are used to things moving at the speed of thought. In a lot of ways, you know what I mean? They're so hungry for more information, to learn more. I don't think that there's the calm that's ever existed before when there was a big press shoot and then you release one out or you leak one. You know what I mean? Like everything is leaked constantly. I mean, every major rapper that I sort of know and have come in contact with are traveling with a kid with a camera. I mean, you look at like Spiff TV, man. He was shooting videos over my shoulder while I'm doing album covers and then editing it by the next day, and the whole thing's out there. I was like, why did I even shoot? Or like, I mean, even Ludacris, I've done a ton of albums with him, and he would literally have somebody shoot like over my shoulder and send out every single setup as they were happening. I was like, could you save one? Or maybe I should have just shot on my iPhone and I would have just pocketed all the rest of it. The equipment and the thing and the Digitech and the lighting and I could have just snapped off a little thing. So, it has changed dramatically, certainly, because people want that information. It's like, how much attention do you get on any photo? Nobody's sitting to really read it unless there's like true substance or true heart in it that like hits your soul in that moment. If you're going through something in your life and you need words of wisdom or inspiration or motivation, something's going to hit your soul. Like, oh man, I needed that. Wow, I am on the right path. I do have to let go of this. I have to let God do this. Whatever it is, that you're going through. But like images, like cute girl, like, oh, that's dope. Can't wait for the next album. Dope. High five. Emoji. Covering eyes. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't spending time with it. And so they realize that in order to keep people engaged, it has to come rapid fire.
Is it important for a person in your position to, I guess, keep your name and face out there? Because like you said, you can take a photograph and it can only be a thumbnail on iTunes. And it's like, when I buy stuff on iTunes, I don't get the liner notes anymore. I don't know who made the beat. I don't know who was the engineer. I don't know who took the photo unless I happen to follow them on Instagram. It's like, oh, man, You're getting that work, bruh. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, is it important, for a person in your position, like, to keep your name out there in a time where, like, nobody really gets credit for doing anything anymore?
Yeah. Look, to speak to credit, I think it's like anybody who's not tagging photographers that are busting their ass doing this thing, I think it needs to be really recognized. Like, we're out here hustling, for next to no dough. In some cases, especially early on, I mean, they're shaking their heads. They get it. I was exactly where you were. I feel it. That credit means a lot early on. You looking sideways for that little gutter credit, like photo Jonathan Mannion. Dope. All right, I'm on page 86 in the source, man. Check me out. Early, But, now I think it's I don't know, man. It's a different hustle now. It's I don't know. I don't even know how to fully sort of articulate it, but it's there's a full range, man, of. Give me a question again, man. I've been talking I just did an interview before this. I've been up since 3 this morning to catch this plane, man.
We appreciate it.
I got the heart of it, though.
We just asked you like the importance of keeping your name out there at a time
keeping my name out there.
Don't get credit for stuff.
I think it's important. I think it does lead to opportunities. It led to the BET opportunity. You know, it led to Vice TV saying, "Hey, we want to profile you." But I think now it's really about the stories that I have to give, and I think that's what people are interested. Like this, I actually have an oral history of hip-hop and photography, and I think that both of those two components are essential now in people's understanding of crafting their own path forward that's real and authentic. And I find this next generation beautiful because they're actually taking the time to study, and they want the liner notes, and they want to know who shot it, and it's important to them, where I think there was a little gap where people were just self-serving, like, I don't need this big machine behind me. I'm going to do it by myself. I don't need anybody. Like, we just became weaker because you walked away from, this critical mass of the steamroller that moves forward. So,
all right, we got another question from the crowd. Let me get up here. I'm going to hold the microphone for
Follow
you
me
as well,
on Instagram, at Jonathan Mannion.
For sure.
So
I do.
So, like,
certain people.
And I've worked with you before in a few situations, and like, looking, in the industry, when you working with different situations and videos and working with different artists, when it's time to take pictures and it's time to look videos, you specifically look for certain people, and that's when your name comes up. When you're looking for a specific look, when we was doing Black Rob, when we specific look,
Biara,
we called you. We was like, Jay Mannion, he did the pictures. Like, we need that situation. When we did the second video, we like, get him in here, like
Star in the Hood, ready.
Star in the Hood. So we need that. And so, like, your name is spoken in circles where individuals of who they are, they sitting there as they putting something together,
your name will come up and like, yeah, he'll do that. We'll get him to do that. Nah, we get him to do so and so.
Yeah.
Jonathan Mannion got a better ride in this. Make sure you know. So your name is being spoke, bro, a lot.
Nah,
Who are you, man?
A good friend of his.
Oh, okay.
Like, we go back.
Yeah.
We get money.
I was like, don't talk too
familiar
much.
faces. I know I got bad. I know I could squabble in here because you got me. Like,
he looks like a very serious individual. He don't look like he plays no games.
He's smiling though, but it's the ones that smile you got to worry about, man.
the gangsters are always the nicest people in the room, 100%.
Ain't it? Yo, man.
Always.
True. But, yeah, look, to speak to that, man, look, I'm honored. You know, I'm honored that my name sort of it continues to be brought up. I mean, even now, I mean, Khaled calling me personally with probably his biggest project to date in the most critical moment of him in the spotlight, you know, and celebrating it. You know, like he's on the late night talk shows and the album is sitting out on the table like, yo, here's my new album cover. I'm proud of that. That's the key right there, major key. You know, like he was really happy. He was thrilled about it. So, you know, for me, I think it's just a testament to hard work. It's longevity. It's an understanding that I'm going to deliver. With artists individually, there's a trust that's been built, and you pick up the conversation just like you do with a friend. You know, it's like, yo, we did, you know, Reasonable Doubt, and now we did Volume 1. How are we going to top it? Let's go back to Marcy and do Volume 2, but in Flyer stuff, and the Bentley, and then let's go do Dynasty, and let's talk about a team. Let's talk about this. Now we do, you know, like it just grows and builds, and I think when trust is there, you don't have to like break through all these walls in order to get there, even though I'm good at that too.
No, the last time you were here, you talked with us about the DMX story, how crazy that was. Exactly. Give us, and I think that was like your number one craziest story from a shoot, like an album cover.
ODB
shoot.
Was the craziest.
Yeah, the ODB one, and then DMX.
Was the craziest.
Tell, because this, you know, new listeners, these people probably didn't hear it. Please tell one of those stories.
I can do them both quickly. So
yeah.
So ODB, and Please was the album, and we waited for him for 7 hours. We didn't think he was going to show up. He canceled 2 other photo shoots. He just didn't bother to show up. 2 other photographers. They're like, get Jonathan Mannion. He'll be patient enough. He's going to get it. Even if he shows up for like 3 minutes, Mannion will have something that's dope because I'm a problem solver. I know what I'm doing. I deliver, period. And so we waited for him for 7 hours. He demanded certain props. He wanted to dress up as Rick James. He wanted to dress up as Donna Summer. He wanted a bed there, and then there were other things that would come. I'm going to run you through the story because this is real. So we were there. We didn't think he's coming. Like 2-3 hours in, we started drinking Coronas on a Saturday. I put on the Rick James one-piece sequin suit and zipped it up the front on my American flag Nokia phone, drinking Corona like this. I gave everybody in the studio a camera to be able to shoot me, just to like keep people motivated in case he showed up. So this is all psychology. Like as a photographer, you're the one that keeps this wheel spinning. When number 1 walks in, you play number 2, even though you're number 1 and actually delivering what the goods are. That's the motivation. That's the psychology.
Right. Yep. That's game.
Major key. So he finally called, and he was like, look, I want $20,000 to show up to my own photo shoot. We're like, yeah. All right, man. Like, yo, it's for your album. You are required contractually to show up. Not me. This is not me speaking. This is the art director. He's like, all right, fine. Call back 15 minutes later. What about 15 or 12.5? Like, no, we're going to draw a stick figure. Don't even bother coming. ODB, just have a good day. All right, I'm coming. Came about an hour and a half later. He walked in and sat down next to the assistant stylist, cute French girl. And, he just started just real close, pulled up a chair. And she was here and sat. And he started, taking off his shoes, Mr. Rogers style, flipping them up, socks off. He's like, I'm just trying to get comfortable. I'm trying to get into the mood a little bit, but I like you here. You smell good and stuff. We're all, ready. I'm standing maybe a foot away, just a close, okay, let's break it apart. I got you. Just let it go. I'm fascinated at this point. So, lost his shirt, jeans came off. He's in boxer shorts, and he's like, come on, let's just do this. Let's just drop it. Jump. Anyway, I won't talk ill about the dead, it was there. It's funny. But I was diving for my camera on a tripod, and I got the shot where he was pulling up his drawers. He had his hands down his pants, and was pulling up his drawers. And I was like, that's the shot of the whole thing. Like, he was about manipulating the system. He wanted to see how many buttons he could push and how far he could take it. And he took it all the way there. We had to send the assistant stylist home, you know, because he was just fixated. He was like, you my girl now. You my girl. Like,
Pepe Le Pew.
We're like, yo, please go home. Like, it's cool. We're going to pay you double for the day. Just thank you so much for the experience. Then he dressed up as Rick James, right? So he comes out on set and he's zipping up. He's still really proud of himself because he just was pushed. He was a little floating. He was floating along a little bit on something. But it was amazing. And then I started shooting him. So you're ODB and I'm shooting, right? So I put the camera up and he's like, okay, I'll be ODB. He's like, shoot me. And we'd do the pose, you know, and I'd shoot a couple pictures. Stop. I was like, all right, drop the camera. Like, all right, shoot me now. Shoot me. Okay, cool. You get back into it. And it was just about control. It was about the dynamic of like getting this thing. And finally, because of my divine patience, after waiting already 7 hours, dealing with the whole, you know, fuckery of the assistant stylist, like having to go home, we get this shot, which just feels important and crucial. I was like, okay, whatever else we get is going to be like icing and frosting and sprinkles. He's like, okay, I'm going to dress up as Donna Summer, put a skirt on, put high heel shoes on. I have a picture of his crusty high heel, like his feet in high heels. Like, it's totally insane. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? But this is like my life. This is like incredible. Like, as a photographer, you want something that nobody else has, you know? So anyway, continued on. And then he was like, you know, why don't you call some girls for me? I was like, I don't have any girls for you. I'm sorry, I don't know any girls. I know plenty, but it's but not like that. But so he wanted ladies of the evening to arrive. I was like, we'll go find it. Yeah. And so we found it, and he did another shot, and then I got him in a white suit, and then he started telling me how to art direct my shot and how to light it, and I was like, yo, we're good, we got it, we're good. But it was the most epic photo
Crazy
shoot.
Like a fox, huh?
Yep.
So we got a question from the crowd.
All right, first off, man, thank you for your inspiration today.
Sure.
I really appreciate you.
Very welcome.
This may seem like a petty question, but it's really important to me. What's your take on watermarks? Like,
watermarks?
Yeah, like, I don't like putting them on my pictures because I feel like it takes away from, you know, the essence of what I captured. But I do find a lot of my work, I find it elsewhere, and I don't get credit and stuff like that. So what's your take on that?
I think for photographers starting out, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think do it subtly. You know what I mean? People do it in clever ways. They might put it as like, you know, a teardrop tattoo. You know, it might just be letters or something. But like something that is clever, that is unique to yourself, I think is going to be standout. Or just a simple thing, like as if you're signing your work, you know, on the bottom. You know, if they crop it, you can't help that. You know, for me, it's more. I use it more when I'm sending stuff to clients for them to consider purchasing, because you know that, you know, one person sees it and then it goes to somebody else, and then it's on somebody random Schleppy McGrew's Instagram post later on that day because he just liked it, felt that it was his, and posted it, you know, which happens constantly to photographers. Oh, I liked it, so I put it up. Oh, I put it on a T-shirt. Well, that's why you're getting a cease and desist letter, or are you going to pay me this much money? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you don't get the authentic Jay-Z thing to put on your T-shirt just because you liked it. Like, yo, there's like know the rules to this thing, man. You know, it's like I'm not gonna steal your beat and put it behind a Pepsi commercial that I direct without taking care of you. Like, we're artists. Like, I am equivalent to Jay-Z in delivery of my artistry. I'm at the highest level. I deliver quality product over and over and over, just like you, just like you, just like you, as a poet, as a dancer, as a thing, as a choreographer, whatever. Like, we're here to like do it. We are our commodity. So I'd say protect yourself and do it. Do it in a subtle, classy way, and no one's ever going to take away. You know, like, to do it all the way across as like a big proof, only when you're actually like sending it to a client where you think it might be some sort of shady transaction. Me, I don't put it on all the time, but I usually just put it on Instagram and put it at a low enough resolution. So even if you steal it, man, good luck. I'm going to find you.
You can expect an invoice in the mail for that free consultation, sir.
No, man, that's free. I'm for the next generation, man. I'm trying to make everybody miss the speed bumps, man, that we all hit and juggled our insides, you know, around. Like, because we hit some walls and had to drive around a lot of potholes, man. So, you know, the industry was a lot shadier.
Yeah. Last question.
Then I'll tell my DMX story.
Yeah, music-wise, or, even photography-wise or just entertainment? What are you excited about right now? Like the one thing that gets you kind of hyped?
You know, having spent this much time, I guess, and it kind of comes back to me. It sounds kind of cheesy, but really what's excited me now is like giving the work back. The BET thing that I did, you know, all of these interviews and stuff that I'm doing, that I'm telling the stories, like they're rich and compelling and interesting, and they're not on Instagram already, you know? So like, I want to give that back. I want everybody to be motivated that, look, you know, a 22-year-old white boy from Cleveland can come out and dominate and do whatever he wants if he believes that it's possible, you know, and we just chase the dream. I think a lot of it is about motivation. People are like, how do I get there? How do I do this? Like, I want to tell you, like, I want to show you that it's possible, one, through example, and then two, you know, if you continue to focus, like, you can get there too, no matter what it is. So that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about giving it back until the end of the year. I don't know. Musically, there's a lot of like incredible stuff happening. I think people are coming back with like full projects. I guess, you know, the most obvious like layup sort of thing is like Lemonade that Beyonce did. It's a complete thought. Right. It's like D'Angelo Brown Sugar. It's like D'Angelo Voodoo. It's like Reasonable Doubt. It's like Nas Illmatic. You know, these are projects. They are thoughtful projects from start to finish versus like, let me go get money off this single. Ooh. All right. No shade. I don't even know, dude. But you know what I mean? Like, how long is he going to last? Bobby Shmurda or something, you know? I don't know. I'm just saying. Look, I didn't understand Future. Like, somebody had to explain Future to me in Atlanta the last time I was here. I was like, why do you love him? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, because he drops albums all the time that we love, that moves the people.
Yeah.
Okay. Work ethic. Cool. Musically, do y'all love him? I'll ask again. Like, okay, yeah. Some people do. Some people love him. Some people like rock at Magic City with it. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. But like, you know, like I just didn't, it wasn't in my wheelhouse. And there is some of that generational kind of thing because I'm an old fart up here at 45 years old. Like, I'm just not going to get it. It's not going to hit my soul because I love Big Daddy Kane. And I don't understand this. Right. Even though I actually do like that song. Even though I don't know who that kid is.
Young and I'm going to tell you the funniest thing about that.
She's dope.
You know who's behind all of her marketing and the push?
Tell me.
Drew High and Buckshot.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Drew's my guy.
Yes.
Wow. That's dope, man. That's really dope. I'm learning. Yo, I'm a student of the game. I stand corrected. I learn, No I thought it was a girl at first, but anyway.
We appreciate you, bro, especially coming through super.
We gonna end on that?
Yes, we gonna end on that. And
Fuck
we
it.
appreciate.
I'm brave enough. My shoulders are big enough to take that,
We
man.
appreciate all of y'all for rocking with us. I know some of y'all came to see Payroll Giovanni. He was having hotel issues, but we got the great Jonathan Mannion
Appreciate
here.
it, man.
For sure, we
and
appreciate
just like his
bro.
photography, like this obviously wasn't for everybody. So consider yourself special.
Yeah, for real,
all
for
17 of y'all.
I got pulled out of the hallway to do this.
Yes, and can we shout out Mad Fresh Daily, Day One Radio alumni trying to sneak out? What's happening? So,
Bye.
we
What's
appreciate y'all.
Bye.
You're listening to Day One Radio.
Why you running away? Why you running away?
Look at
Was it
my
something
God.
I said? I probably said the same thing the first time, too.
It's one of those things where you just had to be there. We appreciate y'all listening. And this is our first live podcast. So this was pretty dope, man. We had fun. Make sure y'all listen every Thursday, ablradio.com, 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. We're also on iTunes, SoundCloud, day1radio.com. And we do hip-hop trivia every Wednesday at Slice, so come through for that as well.
We got some stickers for y'all laptops, too, if y'all want them.
Oh, yeah. No
Day one.
doubt. Appreciate it. Peace.